Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we are talking the MILAGRO GRAMZ and Megan Thee Stallion trial. So we are a couple of days in, you guys, and I wanted to speak on what happened yesterday, because there's a lot going on. Allegedly, a YouTuber was threatened by another YouTuber, and the other YouTuber is alleging somebody was trying to have them removed off the premises. And then we have allegedly DJ Academics was supposed to be attending the trial, but he got spooked allegedly by Aiden Ross and is blaming Rock Nation. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I really don't, but I wanted to speak on a few things that happened yesterday, because the first day was when they selected the jurors and everything else, and then yesterday was when MILAGRO GRAMZ took the stand, which I want to focus on. And then I believe today is Megan Thee Stallion is going to take the stand, right? And I also wanted to get into a little bit of Armand Wiggins' commentary as well. But first, I wanted to read this, you guys. So it says, an online commentator accused of defaming rapper Megan Thee Stallion testified all day Tuesday about evidence in the criminal case against Tory Lanez. Milagro Cooper answered questions from Megan's lawyer, John Sullivan, for about 4 hours as O'Sullivan pressed her about her coverage of Lanez' criminal trial and convictions for shooting Megan 5 years ago. Milagro testified that she had a three-way call with Lanez and his father, but never heard about the shooting until she spoke with only Lanez' father in February 2021. She said that Peterson was hesitant to say anything that would compromise his son, so he literally stopped before anything got to the weapon. To apparently try to show Lanez had to have told Milagro about the shooting, O'Sullivan played a recording of Milagro emotionally saying that if Lanez lied to her, she'd want to fight him because he told her they would be vindicated. You didn't have any personal knowledge of what happened that night, right? O'Sullivan asked, referring to the shooting. Milagro said she wasn't there, so she couldn't have personal knowledge. So whatever you might bring to the table is just stuff you found out somewhere else, right? And right, Milagro answered. And then, okay, so the things that you were bringing to the table were ways of thinking about what happened that night might lead to Tory being not guilty, right? And Milagro answered no. Milagro testified she's always open to the understanding that anybody could be lying to me. So on that phone call with him and his father, they said that they appreciated my content, and they say to me, just watch everything and you'll see. But he didn't give me details. He just said, you'll see. Milagro testified. O'Sullivan ended his exam by asking Milagro what she would do if you, quote, found out conclusively today that the shooting happened how the jury found Tory did it. Would you feel bad about anything you said? And Milagro answered, I would feel terrible. But you're positive he's not guilty, so you feel okay defending that even in the most aggressive ways? O'Sullivan asked. And then the response was, I'm not positive, but I have not believed everything, and it's not about if she got hurt, Milagro answered. I know she was hurt, and I hate that she was hurt. I truly do. But you have to understand from my point of view, she said, and her mother went to jail, and also said that her mother went to jail my whole upbringing. I come from a negative area where so many people go to jail. Not everyone is guilty, she continued, her emotions rising. So when a black man is being accused of something and the details were shaky, she wanted to be certain of the facts. If a situation presented itself that made it clear 100%, all I could do is bow down and apologize, Milagro testified. O'Sullivan began his direct exam on Monday and took about 7 hours over 2 days. Milagro's lawyer, Jeremy McLean, sorry if I'm butchering your name, cross-examined her on Tuesday afternoon for about 45 minutes. McLean asked Milagro about specific incidents in which he believes Megan lied, including saying that she wasn't drunk when Kelsey said that they were intoxicated, and denying that she slept with Lanes, which Milagro said happened, quote, multiple times. And that caused an uproar in the community, right? McLean asked. Yes, because she literally said, oh, I don't know why he would say something like that. Milagro also testified about Megan telling police she stepped on glass when they asked if she had been shot. And when you say that Miss Pete did not tell certain truths, did you have evidence that she did not tell certain truths? And Milagro answered, I feel like I do. A jury of 5 men and 4 women is to decide whether Milagro is liable for 3 claims: defamation for saying Megan perjured herself in Lanes' trial, intentional infliction of emotional distress for coordinating with Lanes and his father to harass her, and promotion of a digitally altered sexual depiction. O'Sullivan's Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan LLP trial team is trying to get jurors to understand the years of social media banter and relationships between people who are strangers to them. At least one already is struggling. U.S. District Judge Cecilia M. Altonga told attorneys Tuesday morning that a juror asked for clarification about names and relationships mentioned in the testimony. What are you saying? What? The juror wrote the questions down at the judge's direction. I am unsure about who Tony Lanes is. Who's Tony Lanes? Stop it! Who is Tony Lanes? Is Daystar is Tony? Is So Star the dad? Stop it! Stop the madness of it all. Kelsey is the former friend of Miss Megan? Stop it! Oh no, we are off the rails. Judge Altonga reminded the attorneys about the questions later in the day, while also recommending they give jurors transcripts of the audio recordings being played. Well, according to Armand Wiggins, there's issues with the transcripts too, because allegedly the court reporter also had to keep stopping and asking, did I hear this correctly? Can you say this again so I can type this? No. And here it is. I am understanding maybe about 80% of what I hear. Judge Wait. Why is this case being tried in Miami? What is happening? I am understanding maybe 80% of what I hear. Judge Altanaga said, and you have the jury's question about trying to understand relationships and meeting. I'll just remind you of that. So it sounds like already the legal team has not properly introduced all of these people and their relationships and the correlations to everything from jump. They just assumed that this was big time, like a Cardi B and Natasha K case, or this was big time like a Diddy case, and these jurors have no clue who these people are. No. And the judge barely knows who these people are. No. The judge didn't answer the, and it says, and you have the jury's questions about trying to understand the relationships and meaning. I'll just remind you of that. The judge didn't answer the jurors' questions, but McLean began his cross by having Milagro identify Tory Lanez' real name as Daystar Peterson, his father as Sunstar Peterson, and Kelsey Harris as Megan's friend who was with her the night she was shot. More from Milagro's direct examination. Some of O'Sullivan's exam is aimed at showing jurors Milagro's connection so that Lanes and his father. Milagro said Sunstar Peterson became a father figure to her, and they discussed topics other than his son's case, such as his interest in cooking and podcasting. Jurors saw a timeline that included Milagro texting Lanes in September 2020 that an exclusive would change her life. Milagro is getting a station head contact in May 2021. Her visiting Lanes and his father in Miami in February 2022, and Milagro posting Lanes' Cat music video that featured him chopping up an apparent horse leg. They also saw a list of $3,000 in electronic transfers from Lanes' father to Milagro between October 28th, 2020 and March 3rd, 2022. 2 and 6 payments between $200 and $1,000. O'Sullivan questioned Milagro about her tweet in February 2022 that falsely said Lanez's DNA wasn't found on the GUN when the finding was actually inconclusive, meaning he couldn't be included or excluded as a contributor to the DNA found on the GUN he used to shoot Megan. She and streamer DJ Academics posted about the DNA before it was discussed in court, but Milagro testified Tuesday she saw Academics post and shared her own version because it, quote, corroborated things that multiple people had told me. O'Sullivan displayed Milagro's handwritten notes from Lane's December 2022 trial in Los Angeles, in which she wrote, Tory, inconclusive Tory cannot be included, excluded, then played a recording of Milagro's live stream that began, Tory Lanez voluntarily submitted to a DNA test and his DNA was not found on the weapon. This is a fact. Sue me if there is not a form that black and white states this. I will wait. I'll wait. If I'm lying, then challenge me, BITCH, then sue me. Then is that the thing? No, I'm not retracting a DAMN thing, and I am not doing nothing, no face, no case. I spoke to my sources. They live on the moon. The recording was about 4 minutes long. Milagro testified that she doesn't have an exact name of who told her about the DNA report. Multiple people came to me, and I have a personal relationship with all the different people. Can you give me a name of a single source you relied on? No, Milagro said. And then also, O'Sullivan played 3 to 4 minute recording of Milagro talking about the Trauma Olympics. I told y'all a long time ago what people value and what they see in Megan, Milagro said. She said 304s, and I'm going to say it just like that. You 304s value Megan because it makes you feel the way that you live your life is okay, and y'all walking around in La La Land not being accountable for the BULLSHIT that y'all do, the lies that y'all tell, and the SHIT y'all stir up, Milagro said. And then you look at her win an award and you say, oh, I can do it too. Rah, great. Ain't nobody has to address the problem, she said. Megan wouldn't be in her situation if she had somebody to tell her to, quote, put the bottle down. Milagro also said on the recording, y'all are mad at Tory and want him to be the scapegoat for your bad decisions. She compared it to 304s. You get pregnant and then claim you are great. No. Yeah, sure, Jam, Milagro said. O'Sullivan said the recording was just before this lawsuit was filed. Why were you speaking with such vitriol against Megan in 2024? Milagro said that her grandparents introduced her to Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, and others, so when it's time for me to do a show, I feel like that's when you step into that terrace. Milagro said she speaks about others in the same way because she has the same passion and conviction. O'Sullivan also questioned Milagro about social media posts and recordings in which she questioned whether Megan is mentally incapacitated and needed a guardian. Milagro said the post was based on a friend of Megan's telling her that she wasn't sleeping with her manager, Travis Ferris, because Ferris is like a guardian to her. O'Sullivan mentioned a guardian angel and asked if Milagro based off of her comments of Megan being mentally incapacitated on a single word. I felt that it was odd verbiage for somebody of her age. Typically for someone of her age, you don't use the word guardian, Milagro said. O'Sullivan also questioned Milagro about Kelsey's interview with the prosecutors before Lanez's trial after he played a 15-minute excerpt in which she detailed Lanez's assaulting her, then shooting Megan. Milagro testified at length about why she doesn't believe Kelsey was truthful, including that Lanez told her in the SUV before the shooting that he had been sleeping with Megan when Kelsey was interested in Lanez. A woman found out that her best friend slept with her guy behind her back. To me, that is motive, Milagro testified. She also referenced police station photos that showed Megan with a knot on her head and Kelsey with scratches, while Lanez didn't have a defensive wounds or anything wrong. So I heard what she said, but it did not align with multiple accounts, Milagro said, of Kelsey's pre-trial interview. You're here today to tell us she was wrong when she said that's what happened, O'Sullivan asked. I'm here to tell you there were multiple people who saw different things, Milagro answered. More from cross-examine. McLyman asked about some 20,000 messages deleted that O'Sullivan questioned her about direct exam. Do those thousands of messages have anything to do with Daystar and Sunstar Peterson, McLyman asked. No, it would be virtually possible because we've never communicated to that extent, Milagro answered. Jurors will be instructed that Milagro deleted thousands of text messages and removed the WhatsApp messaging service form from her phone in violation of a legal notice, and that jurors should assume and infer that defendant intended to deprive plaintiff of the evidence in the deleted messages, that at least some of the deleted messages related to the claims in this case were about the plaintiff, and these deleted messages were unfavorable to the defendant. McLyman referenced Peterson's payments to Milagro by confirming them, asking, "You didn't get offered $1 million? Milagro answered, "No, I did not." McLyman asked, "Is the money not to pay for your mouth, correct?" She said, "That's correct. It was not." Milagro answered. Milagro said the money was for her birthday and for her 2 daughters' birthdays on one occasion, maybe 2 or 3. Peterson also paid her for, quote, promotional services for his podcast, and I believe he had written a book on a separate occasion, she testified. McLyman asked Milagro about the other online personalities who support Lane, such as DJ Academics, Joe Budden, and Aiden Ross, to make the point that they all have much larger followings than her, but they aren't being sued. McLyman displayed a messages to Milagro's hotline and asked her to read one aloud from Nicole from Philly. "Is every source legitimate?" McLyman asked, and Milagro said no. "Do you evaluate leads and tips that come from different sources?" McLyman asked. "Yes," Milagro answered. Milagro said she speaks about topics other than Megan, including politics, relationships, other celebrities, and my own personal life. McLyman also emphasized that Milagro never formally accused Megan of perjury. "Does this tweet here say that Megan lied on the stand?" McLyman asked. "No," Milagro answered. McLyman asked if there was a tweet about a bigger, more general topic of Megan and other witnesses potentially lying and having proper credibility. "Yes, that's what I was talking about," Milagro answered. McLyman confirmed that she watched the entire trial and took 2 notebooks worth of notes, and that she said she has a right to your own opinion and what you saw throughout the course of the trial. Milagro said she agreed. McLyman also emphasized that Megan had bullet fragments on her feet, not whole bullets. He referenced a Shade Room post that said the bullets in Megan's feet matched Lane's gun. "A bullet would be the complete bullet," she said. McLyman also brought up Lane's apologetic text to Megan and his apologetic call to Kelsey, and emphasized he never specifically mentions a shooting when he apologizes. After Milagro left the stand, Megan's lawyers read some of Kelsey's testimony from Lane's trial, in which she answered yes to confirm that Lane's threatened to shoot her, but said that she couldn't remember what she said. The testimony included Kelsey dodging questions about her pre-trial interview with prosecutors and saying that she made false statements in the interview. Kelsey also confirmed that she texted Meg's security, helped Tori shot Megan 911, and said that she did so because I was in a panic. "Now, the accusation that you shot Meg is false, is that correct?" Kelsey answered yes. Megan is expected to testify on Wednesday. Psychologist Lenore Walker likely will testify after her. She was at the courthouse on Tuesday and watched Milagro's testimony. So, a couple of things. This is wild. This is a very wild situation. But just to kind of wrap things up, and my takeaway from this, and I listened to a little bit of, Armand Wiggins' coverage as well. It sounds like, they focused in, at least Megan's legal team focused in against Milagro, really hitting on her opinions on the Tory Lanez case. But I thought that the attorneys were going to focus in on the actual defamation piece of whatever commentary or whatever proof of that, and whatever proof that they had, to try to show that she was allegedly getting paid to specifically say X, Y, and Z about Megan, and ultimately whatever is in regards to this deep fake video, the context, how it was shared, how it was displayed, all of that. I thought that was going to be the main focus, but when I read this and I listened to Armand's commentary prior to this, it seemed as though they were pressing more so about the fact that they were hoping maybe Milagro would change her mind on her stance on whether or not she believed that Megan was shot. And I don't know what that I guess I understand what they're trying to do in the sense that they're trying to display, they're trying to provide factual information to show proof that Megan did get shot. But if you're accusing somebody of being in cahoots with Tory Lanez's people and allegedly getting paid by them, and even to this day, they're still not going to budge on their stance on whether or not Megan got shot, I don't know what they were hoping for. And then Armand also said, which was not included in this article, that there were multiple times that Megan's legal team were asking specific questions of Milagro Grams, and whenever she gave too much details that invalidated their question or made their question look suspect or made their question or Milagro defended herself or made it or kicked it back to them, then they would interrupt her and tell her she's doing too much talking. No. It's just crazy. But Armand, his point of view is saying basically he perceived it as Milagro was fighting for her life on that stand and got emotional about the piece on whether or not, she really was shot. And then also said as well, and this was not in the article, but that they replayed multiple times, hearing the GUN shots. And, even then Milagro is still standing 10 toes down that she doesn't believe that, Megan was shot. And believes that she heard the gunshot, she heard arguing, and then she heard a couple of more, but basically said it could come from anywhere. And I guess allegedly, according to Armand Wiggins, she said on the stand, even I could pull out a GUN and shoot in the air or shoot wherever else, and you can hear gunshots. And then that's when the judge perked up apparently and was like, wait, what did you say? What did you just say? Can you repeat that, por favor? But nonetheless, this really is telling that the judge and the juror, at least one juror, has some confusion about the case as a whole and has a confusion of who these people are as a whole. And I think it was very arrogant for Megan's legal team to make this assumption that people know who they are. Especially if you specifically decided to try this case in Miami of all places. And, why wasn't this tried in Los Angeles where the Tory Lanez trial was? Why wasn't this tried in Houston or Texas or whatever where Megan is from? Or is there certain laws that they feel that they can, press in Miami versus in Los Angeles or in Houston or wherever else? But if the judge and at least one juror has some confusion of who these people are and who the players are and what the context of all this is, that's going to be interesting as well. That is going to be very interesting in terms of what the outcome of this case is going to be. But nonetheless, I feel like the bigger picture in all of this is I wanted to see, like I said, really highlighting the defamation, highlighting, what the specific charges are. And it felt like it was more about, okay, this is your opinion on whether or not you feel Megan Thee Stallion got shot. And then also, I do like the fact that it was brought up of how hard that Joe Budden and DJ Academics and Aiden Ross were anti-Meg Thee Stallion as well. And personally alluded to in their commentary that they may have had inside sources in the hip-hop space or whatever else that refutes, Megan's claims. However, none of them are on this lawsuit, and I don't know why that is. I have no clue why that is, why it is not the same smoke for them and everything else. Why not take down everybody that you're claiming has defamed you, has lied on you, and everything else? So I found that piece to be interesting as well. So nonetheless, we will see, what Megan's testimony is and what the conclusion of this is going to be. I think this is slated to just last a week, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of the approach of Megan's legal team? Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. Tasha K was in Armand Wiggins' chat yesterday, And she made a comment that she was not happy that it was seeming as though Armand was potentially giving tips to Megan's legal team to help them out. No. What? Tasha K, if you don't like Meg the Stallion, just say that. If you do not see it for Meg the Stallion, just say that, because what? But here's my thing too. Like, I feel like the attorneys that watch the YouTubers, that watch the blog's coverage, it's less about them trying to implement a strategy and more about to see what they're saying about the case. I feel like, you know, Megan's legal team, that I'm sure is costing a huge penny, have a strategy in place of what this is going to look like. This is simply reaction and commentary from what he personally saw in that courtroom. And also it was brought up in the courtroom about the alleged threat, and an attorney overheard it in the bathroom, and they asked for the parties to stand up. However, you know, Armand said that he was not going to stand up. He was not going to give the other person the energy that made the threats and everything else, because he feels that that person's not relevant and everything else, and he's trying to get into this case and not have all this other foolishness going on. So that essentially is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.